Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Josephine van der Walle. I'm the Artistic Director at Market Art Fair. Thank you so much for watching today and joining us for Market Talks Artists First. This is the first edition in our series of exchanges and conversations taking place online. Artists First presents a series of talks in which artists from across the Nordic region share their views and thoughts on art and artistic practices. Because while we cannot visit as many exhibitions as we would like today, we still think it's important to stay in touch with artistic ideas. And that's why in this series we let the artists speak first. The program consists of 5 artist talks, each time in conversation with an international curator. With our program we also hope to offer you a glimpse of what will be on view at the upcoming Market Art Fair in September, taking place at Liljevalchskonsthaal from the 17th to the 19th of September. So I hope you will join us then too. Today it is my pleasure to welcome the artist Anna Retulainen, showing with Helsinki Contemporary, here in dialogue with Timo Valjakka. Anna Retulainen is an important figure in the Finnish contemporary painting. She has been showing works since the mid-90s, and her work is included in many important Finnish public as well as private art collections. Timo Valjakka is an independent curator, writer and art critic based in Helsinki. Besides his regular contributions to daily Finnish newspapers, he also writes for art and cultural publications. Anna and Timo have known each other since many years, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing their conversation. So thank you again for joining us, and this talk will remain available online afterwards, both on Market Art Fair's website and the YouTube channel.
Okay, Anna. My first question deals with something that we are all living with. This pandemic has now been here for more than a year. How has that affected your work? Has the pandemic made your work more easy or more difficult?
The pandemic for my work came at a very good time. I just had an exhibition before, and then I was starting to prepare for another. And when I'm working, I really like to be by myself and concentrate. And what can be better? I don't even have to explain why I'm not coming or going. I just say coronavirus. So in the concentration sense, I think it's been the best working period that I can think of.
You have lived both in Helsinki and Berlin, and occasionally in the UK as well. You have always traveled somewhere. Have you enjoyed the isolation and peace in your studio? Or have you suffered from the lack of outside impulses that you get from traveling?
I think I have enjoyed the work, but I have missed the music, because going to concerts and to opera is really important, also work-wise, and that has not been possible. At this stage where I am in my work, it is okay to concentrate only at my studio. At some other stage I would like to be abroad and have influences and to experience something rather than my ordinary daily life, but for the time being it's been okay.
You are a great fan of classical music, everybody knows. I read somewhere that the Argentinian pianist Marta Argerich is one of your artistic idols. What is it in classical music that appeals to you?
It's the fact that I more or less see the music. I don't know if I can catch the word in English. It's the synesthetic experience of music. So it actually does affect my thinking of colors, and it also as I'm working with memories very much. Music is one of the best ways for me to catch the memories from behind. It always takes me somewhere. And Marta Argerich is like, as a woman, she's perfect. She's perfectly beautiful. She's perfect in playing. You can see her remembering the whole of her life, everything she's experienced can be heard in the music. Luckily, one of the last concerts I heard before the pandemic was Marta in the Philharmonie in Berlin.
She's quite an expressionist, isn't she? Like you.
Yes, she is. And when she finishes the concert and I have seen her maybe 10, 15 times or experienced her. And when she finishes her concert and she's satisfied, she kind of throws the long hair back and starts laughing and smiles. And that's when you just get kind of, I love it, yes.
Do you have some favorite composers?
I've listened to a lot, I vary a lot from the very contemporary to old, going from Bach to Boulez to even like the names that I can't remember. I've seen a lot of very, very new operas. I do love Wagner. It's very easy. They go on and you just experience it. But it changes from time to time. I've been listening a lot to Mahler in the past months.
You go to concerts, you did go to concerts actively.
Yes, very.
In Berlin and in Helsinki. But do you listen to music when you work?
Always. And it affects a lot. I did last week, it doesn't affect the theme, the what I'm working, what's the idea of the work, but it would affect the rhythm and the colors, most likely. It might even change the whole visual effect of the work.
And then there is your garden. You once said somewhere that there's 3 important things in life are the painting, the garden and music. And there is this old Chinese saying that the most important thing in the world is gardening, and not even gardening is that important. How important is gardening to you, and what does it mean to you in terms of your work?
I find gardening to be very much like painting. It is. I rebuild it almost every year. I move the plants. I'm thinking of very much the same kind of things. At the moment, of course, the gardening also is to preserve to help the wasps and the bees and the bumblebees, and they are awake and to help them. But it probably one of the most important things is that it gives me time to think, and the ideas continue in the back of my mind. I've got something else to do, but my mind is working.
And you paint, the garden is, do I understand it correctly that the garden to you is like a painting?
Exactly, it is like a painting.
And then you paint that painting?
Yes, then I very much work with that as in my work as well, in painting work.
And these are some of some examples.
Yes, this is a series of drawings I've done in the garden. Just that they are all upside down, I think.
Okay, this way.
That was a very cold early winter, the same as this. So I would very much like to have the feeling, the kind of the memory of the feeling of the day, whether it is a warm day or whether what has happened. But the theme stays the same. That's my tree. I've been drawing 2 trees in the past.
Do you work through the year?
Yes, I've been working through the year in the garden.
When it's all brown and dead?
Yes, yes. The big painting on the wall, that is during the time when it was all brown and dead, before the snow arrived.
When we first met, something like 15 years ago, you were a passionate cycler. Mm-hmm. you were cycling not the easy roads, but you were cycling in forests and all kinds of difficult places where even one can think that even walking can be difficult. And lately, I've also heard you talking about swimming. And when I think of your works, your way of working and your works, they're quite physical. And I was wondering if there's a relationship between your physical activities, how the motorics of your body or the physical activities are somehow transformed to the paintings.
There's a very strong connection, and I feel I'm quite often referring painting as like dancing almost, that it's a choreography that you learn, and you have to be able to control your movements. And it's the whole body that actually is there with the working process. It's not like sitting somewhere and doing a few lines. It's a very physical process. Plus I think it's also what the mountain biking or the off-road, I mean no mountains in Finland, but off-road cycling is it's being on the edge. It's all the time that you can have an accident. And that is almost the same as I feel of painting. You have to be brave. And you have to be brave and go over the border in order to make it work. And that's a thing you learn, I think I have learned with off-road cycling. It's the concentration, and plus the 100% concentration, because the very moment you're not concentrated, that's it. I've experienced it, I've lost my other hand.
And how is something that you experience with for instance, in cycling that is related to the is it the same kind of concentration when you're working?
I think it is, and it's also I've always I'm not always, but I have thought that painting and doing art is very closely related to a fear of death. Might sound strange, but it's like you have to kill your works. You have to be able to do things that you are awfully afraid of. And that feeling is exactly the same. That's what I'm trying to catch. I'm trying to go over the border. And that's how I would like to try to challenge myself also in my work at the studio.
What is the nicest thing about, the best thing about painting? What brings you the biggest joy about painting?
Purely the color, I think. The fact that I can actually have the color in my hand and I can blend it and it becomes something different. And I think it is purely the color, the love of color.
The sort of alchemy that
yes.
Something is transformed into.
Yes.
Into something else.
Yes, and you can actually do it in your hands. It's so simple.
Mm. Your works are figurative, even if the figure is sometimes very hard to find. But the figure is obviously an excuse to make the painting. These are not pictures. It's very hard to make this difference between the picture and the painting. But obviously you're more interested in the light and the space and
color
and these aspects than what has been the starting point.
Mm. Yes.
But how do you start? How do you start a painting? What is the impulse that launches now I go this way?
Well, usually I could, to begin with, I can say that a lot of the year, a lot of the time is spent doing practically something totally different than painting in a traditional way, like at the studio. I am drawing outside, I'm drawing somewhere, I'm thinking, I'm walking, I'm thinking while I'm walking. But if I refer to the painting on the wall, it was a very dark and wet and grey day in the midst of this pandemic. I knew I would be working with my tree, but purely choosing the colours, I was taking myself to a trip to Italy. So it's also a tree pretending to be something different. It's not. It is my apple tree, but it pretends to be an olive tree, and it's a kind of a story I'm building in my mind. So, like in this one, the colors are very. I've decided beforehand that these are the colors, and I will not bring anything more into the palette. So it's. It might even start again with just color. That I wanted to start get going to an imaginary trip to Italy.
And here you said that these are the Italian colors, and one recognizes some Naples yellow maybe, but also the most visible is the blue, which to me is the Giotto, the Padova chapel blue.
Yeah, or more or less the football players' shirts, I could say, because it actually probably is that one.
The Azzurro.
Yeah, Azzurro. Because the blue, I had the biggest difficulty in choosing the blue because that, would be light ultramarine color, would probably be closest to the Giotto. And I did not want that because basically every name of the color in this painting bears a name of an Italian town. There's the Venice red, there's the Italian earth, there's raw sienna, there's the Naples yellow, and then I wanted gold, which is 24 karat gold. But the blue is the most difficult word I've ever experienced in art. It's the Patalocyanin.
Patalocyanin.
Yes, which is actually one of the most used colors in basic dyes and in industry. So that's when I started thinking, it actually hits the probably the Italian shirts, because they wouldn't be using ultramarine or cobalt, but they would be using dyes, and then it is this one. That's why it is so recognizable. Right. Plus it's also at the same time a very transparent color when used as that. And so that was the change, and the gold, of course, very strongly a part of Italian art.
And part of all the chapels and
yes,
because it's also the blue of the Madonnas.
Yes,
That's
blue of the Madonnas
robe
and the gold.
Always has the blue.
Exactly, and the gold.
Yeah, and the gold. I heard that you are now preparing a retrospective at the Sarah Hildén Art Museum, which will be opening next year. How does it feel to look back to about 20 years of painting and dozens of paintings?
I find it extremely wonderful. I really, really have liked it. And I've been surprised that the basic work the museum did to find all the works that honestly I can say I hardly remembered. And working with them in order to make a kind of a dialogue or story of the works, what will be presented in the exhibition. It just brings back all the memories to me, not only about the works, but about old boyfriends, about old things that happened, and every work is almost a trip somewhere. It contain, to me, it might look like a banana to somebody else, but to me it brings back a whole lot of personal memories, what it was. It's really been interesting, and And also working with the memories that the older works have brought into my mind, it's been really
And has
satisfying.
that process influenced your current work?
Yes, very much so. And I also decided that for the exhibition, I will not prepare one special series of new works, because there will be partly new works, but it will be more or less like going back to something that I've done. I found that much more interesting than doing a totally an individual series which has nothing, that I'm the only thing that has something to do with the old ones. But so I'm kind of commenting I don't know if it's like...
Have you felt like repainting some old works?
I definitely would if I got them. But I guess they will be clever enough not to bring them to my studio. I would do it.
Or you can smuggle your paints to the museum.
Oh yes, yes. I probably, I think I will be looked after very carefully, because I might start thinking that, yeah, that would work better if it was like this. So. Plus I have a very strong will of touching my works. And obviously if they are from collections, like most of the works we will be borrowing from other museums. I'm not supposed to be hugging them.
There's some famous stories about painters who have managed to repaint their works in the museums.
I'll have to try to find out about the stories, how to do it, so that I don't get caught.
But before that retrospective, you will be participating the Market Art Fair in Stockholm. And what are we going to see there? Are we seeing this tree?
I think we will be seeing this tree in some form. I'm not sure if we will see this particular one. This was chosen to be here because it was the first work of this year. It was done in the 1st of January 2021, and it was the beginning of it again. I'm quite positively sure we will see quite specifically chosen colors, which will bring another story. So the so-called tree is like you say, it's kind of like an excuse to bring you somewhere with the colors. And I think we will be seeing gold.
That's a good sign for the new year, and hopefully the kind of a new morning after all these difficult times.
Yes, I'm kind of I'm really like for the idea of the gold and the shininess and the colors. It's also to remember that the art and the paintings can actually take you somewhere in your mind. It can help you to experience something which might not be possible at the moment because we're stuck. I mean, yes, we are. We're very much stuck here.